What up, boyos? Welcome to the 4th episode of the Citrus Cast. Once again, joined by our host Benji. Plain Set, also known as Creamer.
Hello.
Snowfox, also known as Aidan.
Hello.
How's it going, boys?
It's going alright.
How are you?
Good, not too bad. Not too
bad. Good to hear.
So this week, Aidan has selected a category for us. He has held us in suspense right until the last second. So I'm nervous now.
So I wanted to talk about books that have been turned into films.
Okay, I thought you were just going to say books. Then I was going to.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be
no.
Interesting topic.
And specifically, kind of like fantasy books.
Yeah.
That have been turned into films, and some of the better ones that have come out. And the one that I think most people go to when they think book turned into film,
Percy Jackson,
like
I was going to say
big,
Mortal Engines.
epic fantasy has to be The Lord of the Rings.
Never watched
I thought you were going to say Harry Potter, to be fair.
I mean, there's Harry Potter, but...
Never watched either of Maiden, so I don't know.
What? You have definitely watched The Lord of the Rings. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life?
Wow.
Not watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, what are your guys' sort of thoughts on sort of books that have been turned into films and things like that? Because we know from The Lord of the Rings that it's so good as an epic fantasy in how it was made, how they even got all the actors to go to a completely different country on the opposite side of the world, and how they made sets, they made Hobbiton, they got people up locations up on top of mountains, and it brought the world of Middle Earth to life, and it's one of the best ones that I've ever seen in terms of like books that have been brought to life on films and things like that. Yeah, but I was just wondering what sort of views you sort of have on different like books that have been like turned into like sci-fi or like fantasy kind of films on TV shows.
A big passion project. I was going to say for Sam Jackson then, for Peter Jackson. When you think about it, is to go through all that, dedicate fucking years of your life to making something of that scale. You've got to be fucking into it.
Yeah, you didn't just make the film, you made the world.
Yeah.
You made the universe that all the others came into.
I was going to say, it's not as if, like, I'm not taking anything away from Tolkien here or anything like that, but, like, the fact that there is an entire literal language that mainstream and things like that, which is all brought to life because of the fiction they created.
I was going to say, which one?
Yeah.
Is there not more than one?
But yeah, it's...
Well, that's with what Tolkien did. He brought lots and lots of different... because his interest was linguistics.
But what I mean is sort of like the mainstream of it, which Jackson sort of like, especially like, it wasn't just a film that was made, it was like A-list actors as well. Like you had Viggo Mortensen, you had
it was the film, yeah.
You had Ian McKellen in it, so there were A-list actors in it. So it was something that he'd clearly thought about and something he put a lot of time into it to make sure that it was fucking perfect. And obviously you had a lot of casting things. Like I know Sean Connery was favoured for the role of Gandalf before Ian McKellen.
Was he? I never knew that.
Yeah. Sean Connery was favoured for Gandalf before Ian McKellen. And then they started filming Viggo Mortensen with someone else. Like actually the first like 3 days of filming with another actor. I can't remember who it was. And then a couple of days into the filming, Peter Jackson was like, no, I need someone older for the role of Aragorn. And
because they actually... So with Aragorn, with Viggo Mortensen, they actually had just completely started filming the film. And while they were doing it, they still hadn't even got a cast member to play Aragorn.
Yeah.
So when while in the middle of filming, they brought in Viggo Mortensen for a test, and his first test was him fighting the Nazgul Weathertop.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they brought that scene to the producers and thought, wow, this guy is Aragorn. He's the perfect fit. And then, of course, he was casting it while the film was started to roll.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not a thing you really see in films. You don't see films start filming, having completed several scenes in different locations, and still not have the full cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But I think that's just sort of the power of not only the film that they're making, and the film making process as a thing, but also the power to the source material as well, in the fact that because they've got so much source material that they can already use to start filming these things, they can take the time, even though they're on a schedule, they can still also take the time to find someone to fit the roles perfectly, because the source material is so vast. They can just use other bits from it and film those while they're still in the searching.
Yeah. But it's the same as like Harry Potter, really. Like you look at them, like you said, you look at them two as the main sort of ones, but like just how much of a massive fucking cultural influence they are around the world.
Oh yeah.
Even though I prefer the Lord of the Rings, I'd probably say Harry Potter more so than
the more well known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more so than the Lord of the Rings, purely because there's more.
It's a wider audience it appeals to more than anything.
There's a wider audience, yeah, and there is more of them, yeah.
I feel like with Harry Potter, anyone will read Harry Potter. Like I read Harry Potter when I was like 10 years old, whereas I probably wouldn't have read Lord of the Rings until a bit later.
Yeah.
Because it's not an older book, but it's a bit more complex with the storytelling and things. So you need to be a bit more onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it was
with the Harry Potter. You had like the child version, then you had an adult version as well, didn't you? So the
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the later it gets into it, like I think the more.
No,
adult,
I mean, as though it was written in two separate ways, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I'm sure it is. Maybe I'm just making that up, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it was.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So there is at the back of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, there is a chapter called 19 Years Later.
Yeah.
I knew about that. Yeah.
19 years later, and that bit is when Harry is a lot older.
No.
Books themselves are just as he grows up.
No. What I mean is, in like the J.K. Rowling written a version for children, and then a more mature version as well. Did she not? I'm sure she did.
I don't know.
It might have been edited,
maybe
that
like she wrote the book, and then like not the producer, but the editor, something had done a kid's version of it. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I've never heard it be a thing.
I don't know.
I've not either.
Maybe it was just, now that I think about it, it was different. Maybe it was just different collections, because I know my mum used to have one which was yeah, it was definitely just different collections. So I think about it. Never mind, ignore me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just like, because I remember seeing in shops like Waterstones and things like that, like the different versions of the books, and I always wondered what the difference was. And it for me, yeah,
it's just the covers, basically, isn't it?
Covers, yeah.
There's some really nice ones out now. Like they're doing like the collector's edition stuff. They're really nice, the collector's edition ones.
Yeah. There's a woman somewhere. She buys sets of the books, and then she paints like on the actual page.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
And then she sells them.
She paints like landscapes onto them of the stories.
Yeah, and then sells them all, which is really cool.
They look amazing as well.
Yeah. But then you look at it as well as it's appealed to different audiences. Like there's the fucking Harry Potter game coming out soon, the Harry Potter Legacies, and you've got all the
I'm really excited about that.
Like
I don't know how many times I need to say that, but I am excited for it.
Like,
it is going to be great.
I remember
can't wait for
fucking playing, especially Lego Harry Potter, fucking like countless hours in that.
The OG Lego game.
Yeah. But the massive thing about them is sort of like, I think the scale, like Creamer said, the scale of the audience that they reach out to.
Yeah.
So which in that case, out of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, do you think is the greater fantasy franchise?
That's very
it's a tough one, that, because
very
it
tough
depends,
decision.
it depends what your definition of greater is in that context.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so,
both are better than the other in different things.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like,
I mean,
I think Harry Potter has had the greater cultural impact. But
yeah.
I think the story of the Lord of the Rings is better.
The better story. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, but it is
purely because of the amount of lore that's in
Yeah, the whole
well.
There's basically another book that describes what happens like in the different towns and things like that, just in the area in general. But there's just so much around that it's just you can tell he's like dedicated his life to making this universe, basically.
Yeah.
And he's basically lived in it without living in it.
Mm.
Well, the way he sort of described Middle Earth was it is just another part of Earth's history that has been sort of lost and is now considered sort of folklore. So Middle Earth and the race of elves and dwarves and hobbits and all the other sort of creatures that exist are so old that they have just been lost to time in our modern Earth, our modern world.
Yeah.
That's sort of his sort of inspiration.
The Land Before Time kind of situation.
Yeah. And he views himself more as a historian rather than an author himself. Because it is. There's the book, The Silmarillion, tells of the history of all of that, but from the creation of Arda to right through to the middle of the Third Age. All of that is written in this, I think, 300-page book.
Yeah.
Something along them lines, yeah.
Yeah, because I've got it sort of over there in
the corner.
In the corner of my room somewhere. But yeah, no, he's the impact that both of them have are massive. So I think you're right. You are right to say that you can compare them, but you have to compare them in different ways because they are different, but they also appeal to different audiences and do things in different ways.
Yeah.
But then you do get some absolutely awful ones like Mortal Engines.
Wow.
I don't like Mortal Engines.
You know what I did? To be fair, I've not read the book, so I can't compare. But I enjoyed Mortal Engines.
Which one have I've read? The only one I've read is Fever Crumb. I'm sure that's the first one, and that I really enjoyed that.
Fair enough.
The Mortal Engines fucking series. So that was good.
It's a good concept as well. I do like the concept.
Oh yeah,
of it.
it's fucking fantastic, and that book. And you know what? I might actually read that again soon. Fucking like gripped me. I was like, you're going back like 10 years when I read it, but it was really fucking good.
Even still, yeah. A book's quality doesn't change with age.
True.
It shouldn't have. Yeah.
True.
I suppose you could outgrow it, but even still.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it's a tough one, Aidan. I do think it's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know.
The worst one.
I can answer it. No, I just between the Lord of the Rings and have you asked a new question?
Yeah, like what do you think is sort of the worst one that has been sort of done?
A lot of people are instantly going to point fingers at Twilight, aren't they? But I don't think Twilight was that bad.
Twilight?
It appeals to an audience, and I think it does a good job of appealing to a very specific audience.
I agree.
And
I think the worst one
that doesn't like it is like, well, it's obvious, you know.
When Twilight first came out, I saw the first film. I've not read the book. Yeah, I saw the first film in cinema,
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it to the point where I could suspend my disbelief enough for it to not be overbearing for me. But now that I look back at it, it went downhill so quickly.
You know what?
Do you reckon? I don't think it was that bad.
About a lot of critiques of Twilight is how people have a go at the sort of the lore of the world, in the sense of like, well, vampires shouldn't sparkle, and the answer I have that is, well, they aren't fucking real.
It's their story; they can write what they want.
Whatever the fuck they want.
Wait, they're not real.
No, vampires aren't real. No.
There are just a couple of things that annoy me about that, and I understand where people come up, especially when you get like these proper fucking diehard people that are like, oh, vampire fucking cultists. But then at the same time, it's just like, well, it's clearly not your vibe, so why are you getting so worked up about it?
Yeah, if you're gonna get that bothered about it, don't watch it. Just call it a day.
Like,
I thought it was well done. Personally,
is the screenplay great? Debatable. Is the cinematography great? You know what? It's actually pretty decent. So
that's the one thing I sort of liked about it. I liked the visual side of Twilight, and I liked how sort of dark it was. Like the direction of it was okay. The cinematography of it was better. The story writing, the actual script for it was.
But is that the fault of the book for writing a poor story, or is that the fault of the film for adapting it poorly?
Probably more.
I think
both.
Do you think?
More fault of the film.
I think that's not it being a bad adaptation. That I think that's just you personally not liking the story, which is fine. But I feel like it's a test to different things.
Yeah, possibly. But maybe it's just that Stephenie Meyer. Is it Stephenie Meyer or Stephenie Meyer's? But
I couldn't tell you.
But her sort of writing isn't the strongest
appealing
thing
in
the world.
Yeah.
That there are certain things in the books that are a little bit questionable in terms of like writing and being clear on the concept. But there are worse book adaptations.
What's your worst one, Ben? What would you have to rate?
Worst one? Fucking hell, it's tough that. Because there's not a lot where I've read the books before, and like the Hunger Games, I've never read the books. Twilight's the first one I've never fucking
Really? You never read Hunger Games?
Never read Hunger Games. Never read Twilight.
Fair enough.
I started reading Dune and then fucking give up.
Fair enough.
But there's honestly there's a lot that I haven't actually. I'd probably say out of the biggest ones, I've read the like Fever Crumb, which is the first one of Mortal Engines. Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter are probably the only ones that come to mind straight away that I can say I've read.
Fair enough.
So I in terms of like adaptation, I can't really say which one I dislike the most. It's a tough one, this, because it really just does.
It is subjective.
When it comes to fantasy as well, it really just does depend on your vibe.
Yeah. Like some people like magic, some people like, different worlds, space travel, things like that. There's different branches of fantasy. So
I mean,
whereas Star Wars, for example, I know it's not adapted from a book, but well, some of it is.
There are some other ones that people actually don't realise are books. And one of them is I, Robot, which is based on.
I knew that was a book. Yeah.
It's based on a book of the same title by Isaac Asimov, who wrote the Foundation series. So he was interested in space and artificial intelligence, and how they sort of link together. So that's pretty much what all of the books in the Foundation series is. I'll find a list.
Well, I know another one. Blade Runner was one. If you knew that.
Yeah, there's Blade Runner.
Yeah, I knew Blade Runner, to be fair. I don't know why I knew Blade Runner and not the other one, but I did.
I Robot.
Yeah, so a list of books by Isaac Asimov include like iRobot, Foundation. There is one here called The Caves of Steel, which I've not heard of it, but it's part of it's got a certain sets of like series. So he's got the robot series, Galactic Empire, Foundation, and then he's got other ones. But the main one for him is Foundation. So you've got Foundation, and Empire here, and then Second Foundation make up sort of the original trilogy of it. And they're more focused on sort of space and space exploration and things like that.
Yeah.
There is also something here called Bicentennial Man. Do you know the film by Robin Williams?
I don't think it was by Robin.
I can't say I do, no.
Robin Williams is in it.
Well, yeah, but that apparently is based on the book The Positronic Man.
Fair enough.
By Isaac Asimov.
I think there are fucking shit. When you think about it, if you start googling it, I'm sure there are fucking shitloads. I'm sure.
I mean,
the books, the films. Oh yeah,
yeah. You've got.
You could fucking sit here all day and.
You've got Game of Thrones, which is
we'll do anyway.
the big.
There's loads of series as well. It's not just films, like American Gods. If you've seen that, was
There's a new one, isn't there? Based on a book called Wheel of Time.
I've not heard of it.
Although I've heard it's a bit of a flop. The actual TV series. I've never read the book. I didn't even hear about the book until I heard about the series.
Yeah.
But from what I've read about the series, like online, it is a bit of a flop.
What is it? What's it called?
The Wheel of Time.
What's it about?
I'm unsure.
I don't know what it is, but I know it flops.
I know it's shit. Yeah.
I can't. So I'm not entirely sure. I could probably find like a synopsis of it somewhere. I don't know.
This is a good little topic. This, to be honest, Aidan, because I suppose this will fit quite nicely in a cute little pea-pod with things such as like video game movies and things like that.
Yeah.
And sort of like, because I know we were talking about it the other week when we were on Discord, like what the best ones are and how so many of them have been fucking shit and stuff like that. And I feel like what's good about sort of books to movies as opposed to such as things like films to games and stuff like that is you've got a lot more freedom with sort of the source material, because you can sort of interpret that writing and that sort of literature in your own
personal way. Yeah.
Whereas when you're doing it in another form of media, like a game to a movie or whatever, it's a bit different.
There is a linear set out, in most cases, a linear set out story that you tend to follow, and that will be what the film is, unless it's decided it wants to go a different way with that. You know, it's like, say, the Assassin's Creed film, it went a completely different route.
Yeah.
In that it was the same character, essentially, but a different assassin.
And the story just did not fucking correlate to anything.
I mean, it wasn't a great film, but... I'm not saying it was a great film, but yeah, even still, we move on.
I fucking remember when that came out, right? And Sam asked me to go and watch it with him. I was like, oh no, I'm not. I can't be asked. And I was like, oh, I'm too busy. And then like the next day, or the same day, Owen and Jack were like, do you want to go and watch Rogue One? I was like, yep. And we actually saw Sam at the fucking
cinema.
And I was like, oh my god. That was quite funny, that. But it's a tough one, Aidan. It's a tough one. I will give you that one. You've put a bit of strain on my old wrinkly peach up top. That sounded weirder than what I thought.
What do you think
Oh,
the
it's
best
called
one
the
is then?
brain. The best one. What the
There is a
best-
correct answer to this.
Best
By
what?
the way.
Video game
Book,
movie?
book to film, sorry.
Oh, book to film. Oh, you're gonna say something daft now, aren't you?
It's not daft. It's...
Are you gonna say Dune?
Say what, sorry?
Dune.
No.
Dune. No.
It's a bit more OG than that.
A bit more
Quality film called Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh yes, lad. Now we're talking. Was that a book originally?
Oh, it was originally a book.
Oh, that's good.
I've not seen or read.
What?
That is a shambles.
That is a travesty, Aidan. Bridge to Terabithia was sick.
It was the original film. It is still a great film.
It is awesome.
One of the greatest films I've ever watched. I'm going to throw it out there.
Spoilers, also heartbreaking as well.
Oh, it's a sad film. It is what it plays a sad film.
Little tear.
A little one, massive cry.
Massive cry. That was
What is it about? What is Bridge to Death?
It's about a bridge that takes people to a magical land called Terabithia.
There's this young lad, which is played by the guy from Hunger Games. What's his name, Cream?
Oh, Josh Hutcherson.
That's the one. He's in it, and he's like an artist, and he like draws this fantasy world with his creatures and stuff like that. And he lives on this farm. And anyway, this girl moves in like next door to him, and she somehow like looks at his drawings and starts imagining the same world as him. And then they go into the woods, and all this like fantasy stuff happens in the woods. For me, like, and what's so great about it, it's like such a large portion of the film you don't see like anything in these fucking woods, but you're so enthralled by like the actual imagination of these kids. You're like, holy shit, this is awesome.
The whole it's like it's an imaginary land that they make. Have you seen the Spiderwick Chronicles? Hey.
No.
Oh my god.
There are a lot. You know this about me. There are lots of things that I just have not watched.
There's a lot of things you should have watched as well. That was the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So explain it to me like I am 5.
Right.
So we'll do Bridge to Terabithia. Bridge to Terabithia is like a fantasy world basically. So it's about this kid that makes his own world, and then they make loads of drawings about things that could be in the world, like things he just makes up, like fairies, things like that, and then like giants, things like that.
Yeah.
And then all these things start coming to life in the forest. But it's all it's never explicitly explained, but it's all in his head.
Yeah.
And then he finds this girl and he takes her to this world, and she can start seeing all the stuff as well. But it's all like their imagination creating everything. And then it gets really sad at the end because loads of stuff happens.
Right. Should we spoil it for him?
No.
No. Okay.
No. He needs to watch it.
I do need that.
And I feel like if we say this now, we just will never watch it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you do it's big sad. Not even the fucking you are, honest to God. You are.
I know. I'm sorry.
You are you.
I apologize.
However, right, let's even go even more goat cream. I know, even more goat.
Even more goat.
Even more goat than Bridge to Terabithia. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
The Never-Ending Story.
Oh my god!
But is it a book?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Is it a book?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was a book. Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Even
oh, it is.
No,
it is.
There you go.
It is a German novel.
Yeah, apparently. It's called The Never-Ending Story book.
Nice.
Nice one.
The Never-Ending Story.
No, I love The Never-Ending Story. I reference it quite a bit, and I don't think many people realise.
Do you?
Yeah.
I never once thought.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever heard you reference Never-Ending Story.
I have referenced it quite a few times.
I will now be on the lookout for these references.
Well, main character, Artax.
What about him?
And then, no, that's the horse.
I was going to say, I think
Atreyu,
the horse is the Artax.
Atreyu is the main character. Then you've got Falcor. Oh, Falcor is such a great character.
I've never heard you mention these characters, though.
Love Dragon.
Yeah, this is the first we've heard of it.
Really?
Yeah, this is the first time I heard you mention it anyway.
What did you call him?
Falcor.
Yeah, what did you say he was?
He's a love dragon.
No, he's a luck dragon, not a love dragon, you fucking idiot. A love dragon. Well, it just goes to show how much he fucking knows. He gets the main character's name wrong, and then what Falcor is.
Yeah, I just miss.
Yeah.
No, I knew what he was. You know, you're just nitpicking me, aren't you? You are doing it to nitpick.
He's done it again.
I
Swindled.
But yeah, The Neverending Story. It's a great film. I've not read the book, but maybe I should.
I advise you.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Oh, you like The Golden Compass, don't you, Ben?
I wouldn't say like. I'd say I watched and then hated. But if you want to say like, sure, we'll go for
Have you seen the series?
No.
Yeah.
The series is actually pretty solid.
The series, his Dark Materials, is good. It is really, really good. They are very mature about it, in that they don't sort of overcomplicate everything. They just use the source material and make it easy for the audience to understand in a way that is both exciting and consistent.
Yeah.
And the books were great of them. They really were.
Yeah.
It's like the first series I read properly.
You know something that did have great source material and then was butchered at various points.
That's not.
The Walking Dead.
Comic book as well.
Yeah. So sad. What was the turn off point for you, Creamer? Because I know a lot of people have a lot of different turn off points. Like some people predate the early and go all the way back to Dale being the turn.
Dale, yeah. I had two turn off points really. I had a turn off point when Maggie, and then I came back a little bit, and then Carl, and then after Carl I was gone.
What were Maggie?
When Maggie died.
Maggie died?
No, not Maggie. Sorry, I meant Laurie. Sorry, I meant Laurie.
Oh,
not
Laurie.
Maggie.
Okay.
Sorry, Cosmo. After that, I was like, I didn't like her as a character, but after that, I was like, well, this is kind of done now. Rick's just going to lose his mind. And then it got good again with like Terminus and all that.
Yeah.
And after Carl went, I went, yeah, no, there's no point anymore.
Fucking I can accept Glenn's death because it does actually happen in the books and it does actually happen in that way. But Carl was just ridiculous because of some behind the scenes farce. It fucking literally ruined
the thing is though,
show.
Carl would not die in that situation, realistically.
Yeah, I know.
That was the biggest issue with that. Even if he did in the comics, did have like some explanation, like, he'd broken his leg or something and he couldn't run away.
Yeah.
But like realistically, Carl was surviving that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Carl's
That doesn't surprise me after this conversation.
Yeah, that's true. Said you've not bird witnessed
so I watched. So season 5 was when they first met Negan?
No.
Or was it season 6?
It's like
season 4, isn't it?
No, it's like the end of season 6. The end of season 6 is when they first meet him. Yeah, because season 5 is Terminus. The end of season 4 is the prison getting fucked up. Season 5
Oh, sorry, yeah, of course, yeah.
Season 6 is Alexandria, and then Negan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So season 6 is when they first meet Negan.
Oh, I'm trying to think. So I watched it up to where Negan die or gets his throat slit.
Yeah, he does.
Whatever that series was. I
Whatever
can't
that
remember.
series was.
I got it so long ago that I actually watched it.
Yeah.
I assume it's still the same series of The Walking Dead, though. I assume that's not changed.
But I watch it up to when he got his throat slit, and then I got a couple of episodes after that, and then I just got distracted by other things because I got bored of watching The Walking Dead.
Fair enough.
It was a good series up until sort of that point, and then it just sort of subsided for me.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, that's like one of my only ones that I've actually ever been like turned off the series for, though. Like I commit to most things, but that
You know what?
that's
It happened with me with Breaking Bad. Like I've watched
Breaking
all of
Bad?
Breaking Bad apart from the last season because it got to the last season. I was just like, oh, I just can't be arsed.
Fair enough.
There's
To be fair, I was never really into Breaking Bad. I
I
watched bits of it, but I wasn't like. I never
and now
fully...
I just cannot fucking wait for Attack on Titan to finish. I know this is sort of like derailing
years
it
coming.
slightly, but fuck me, honest to God,
It has been a decade we've been waiting for.
It has. I think that might be a good stopping point. A bit shorter this time, but that was a good topic, Aidan. I like that chat. That was a good one. Go on.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
It was a good one. So yeah, thank you for everyone that has listened / watched, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.